WFAN. They're talking sports, going as hard as they can. It's like a mad dog on the fan. Nothing can get by him, turn it on and try him. Mike and the Mad Dog, WFAN.
A sec, but the third wheel in our program today is the renowned actor, many a show, our good buddy Chaz Palminteri. Chaz, nice to have you with us.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here. Nice to be here. All right, I just want to say one thing. I'm so excited to be here with both of you guys. It's like, you know, I'm with De Niro and Pacino. That's what it feels like. I just want to say, you know, Jim Brown, the great Jim Brown, when he played lacrosse, he changed the rules. Will Chamberlain, when he came in, he changed the rules. Mike and the Mad Dog, when they came in, they changed the rules.
Nice of you to say that. Nice of you to say that, Chad.
So tell us, I mean, because I know in the very beginning, when you first started, you both wanted your own show.
That was a big thing.
You didn't want to be together.
Oh, boy.
You didn't know each other, but you just wanted your own show.
We didn't know each other, number one, so that we knew a little bit. We didn't know each other that much. I thought I was going to get Afternoon Drive. You'll see this in the 30 for 30. Mike thought he was going to get Afternoon Drive. When you knew Pete Franklin had a short life, he was always unhealthy. The great late Pete Franklin. So I thought, you know what, geez, I'm going to be able to do Afternoon Drive once Labor Day comes and I get a call after I play basketball in a city park down in New York somewhere. I was walking home and the program director, Mark Mason, calls me, Chris, we're going to give you Afternoon Drive with Mike Francesa. And you had the same reaction I did. Are you kidding me?
I had been filling in for Pete a lot of that last summer because he had been ill. And he knew he was just filling out his contract, so he didn't want to come in. So he was running out the clock, and we knew they were going to have a new show. So I got called into the program director by Mark Mason, who was the program director, and he said, I have good news. You're going to go to the Afternoon Drive. I'm like, great. I think that's great. But you're not going alone. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, I have a two-man idea. And you know Chris Russo? I said, yeah, I know he is. And he had been on a couple of shows and heard him on a couple of shows. He'd been on with Imus. I know who he was, some lunatic screaming his head off. So they said, well, this is my idea. Mike and the Mad Dog, what do you think? And I said, no. I said, I want to do Afternoon Drive. I promise you I'll do well. Just give me a chance. You don't need Dog. Put him in the midday. He's fine. He can do the show. I'll do Afternoon Drive. Nope. I said, well, I'm not doing it. So he said, it's Friday. You have until Monday. Either Monday, you're going to be Mike and the Mad Dog, or you're not getting the show. So you have a weekend to come to the conclusion it's going to be Mike and the Mad Dog. So by Monday, when I got there in the morning, it was Mike and the Mad Dog. And so it was. And we never had a meeting. We never had a practice show. We just showed up for the first show, and if you can tell them, the first show had more people than this standing in the back of the room, as we had never done 5 minutes together in the studio.
With Brendan Stein with the sweaters.
And we had not had a meeting, not one meeting. And now here came the first show, which was actually 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock, no Mike and the Mad Dog jingle. They hadn't invented it yet.
It was a 3 to 7?
It was 3 to 7. Right. 3 to 7, then went 2 to 7, then 1 to 6:30.
It must have not been a Met game or something,
right? We created this, remember we created this jingle out of the Blues Brothers music with the people there, and they didn't like it. No, I don't like the jingle. We'll put a new jingle.
Right.
And they put a different jingle on. We started the show, and by 2 o'clock, or by 3 o'clock, or as we say, an hour into the show, by 4 o'clock, they had their hands in their heads, okay? They were just like, oh my God. And that's how it was for like the first month. It was an absolute train wreck. I mean, it could not have been worse.
Well, you had the whole front office staff was, in a big glass right behind you. You had Brandon Steiner, the memorabilia collector, who owned a clothing store at the time, who brought in sweaters. You remember that? So here it is,
September 5th.
This is September 1989, right?
Yeah, September 5th, 1989. Here it is. We got two guys who had never done a show before. Again, we knew each other from afar. Never done a show before. We got basically the whole station, right back of us watching. That's a lot of pressure to be putting on two guys who I had never done team radio before, nor had Mike. Nope. What you had with Eddie?
I had a little bit, but very
not
little.
A ton.
And frankly, I figured, you know what? couple of weeks I can run him out of the studio. I figure, maybe 2 weeks he'll run away. That'd be it. Well, he didn't run away, and it just got worse and worse. And then Chaz came up with an idea. Basically, had meetings every day. You guys have got to learn to work together. You got to work. And then the newspapers are writing that they should split us up. I miss the general manager, split them up, give one midday, give one the afternoon. This isn't working. We'll put them both in different shows. And he kept saying, nope. And he called us in and he'd say, right, you remember this? Yeah. He'd say, I'm going to get fired over this. You guys are going to get me fired if you don't learn to play together. And we wouldn't hear a word of it. And then I came up with this idea for a gimmick. Dog Date Afternoon.
It was brilliant, it really was.
And he played along, which was pretty nice because he was going to be made fun of and he was going to be the guy who had to pick a girl. Who knew what the girl was going to look like? I was married at the time. He wasn't.
Send postcards in, 25
postcards in about why you want to go. You're going to go to a play. I picked out aptly Cats, okay? A dinner, a limousine, and if I remember right, her name was Joanne Farkas.
That's correct. Right? It was the year that, I think it was the day that Flutie won the Heisman, if I'm not mistaken.
It was in the fall.
Yeah.
And it got so much publicity, and it went over well, and he honestly was a very good sport about it, that it was the first softening point.
That's a good point.
Then
the black bean soup. Everybody used to make fun of the Joanne Farkas said the black bean soup. Right. I shouldn't say that.
And the poor woman, she was last seen yelling and screaming as she ran out of the limo on the PQE. Okay, but it actually softened the show up a little bit. And then the first ratings book came out, and we had gone from Pete was 11th, we went to 3rd in the first rating book, and then we were like, whoa, wait a second. 3rd, and they said, listen, you're not going to get past 3rd, but this is a good start. Well, by the spring, we were 1st. Right. Once we were 1st, we understood there was a lot of money in it, and then it was Mike and the Mad Dog.
As soon as you both let each other shine, that was really the thing, where you both calmed down and you let each other shine. That's when you guys skyrocketed.
That was very important. I had to learn what made Mike tick. Mike had to learn what made me tick. I don't know if Mike had it, but in my contract, I had bonus clauses.
Yes, so did I.
You had the same thing. I think it was the top 4. It may have not been the top 4 spots. And all of a sudden, I'm getting big checks. January 5th, we finished 3rd. Holy crap, look at this. Where did this come from? He's not a big guy after all.
I learned something that day, the first time. The word was leverage, Chaz, okay? I went in for that first deal. They told me, here's what you're getting. You're signing a 3-year deal. Here's what you're getting paid. Like it or lump it. And that was the time I realized you don't go back in again without leverage. I never went back in without leverage again.
Absolutely.
Ever. Either they have it or you have it.
Chaz knows.
I took the hammer with me. I took the hammer with me every time after that, okay? And I learned right away. But that's the bottom line. And frankly, it skyrocketed, and once we had that spring, and we had gone along, and I'm not saying it was going to be great, okay? It wasn't. We had plenty of ups and downs, and plenty of fights and different things, but by the spring, we were number 1, and then it just kind of took off, and then there was no question that they signed us both to long-term deals, and they ripped up our first contracts. And we knew we were going to be around with each other, and we were going to have to learn to live with it. And we did, although there were, through the years,
some issues.
Yeah, some issues.
Well, remember now, the second year we started with the Giants won a Super Bowl.
Right.
So the Giants had that great Super Bowl, so we had that great run when we went to, they beat the Bears, then we went to San Francisco, they beat the Niners, and they had no week off. They beat Buffalo and Tampa, and I, like an idiot, picked Buffalo 49-13 to win the game. You know why I picked them that way? Because Mike and I were in San Francisco for the AFC Championship game, and I love offense, and Mike likes the defense, run the ball, things like that. I like the flair. So we're sitting there before we go to Candlestick Park, and Buffalo is scoring every time you turn around. The red gun offense, they're killing the Raiders, and I'm it was 40. I think it was 42-3 at the half.
And they scored over 50.
Yeah, 52-3. I think it was 40. And I said, "There's no way the Giants are going to beat them. They're not typical me. There's no way they can win." Mike said, "Oh, you're nuts." Kept it quiet. Next week, he told Parcells.
Well, no, here's what happened. Friday, we do a show at the hotel, and this is before Radio Row or anything. We're at the Super Bowl in Tampa, the Gulf War, the whole thing. They've gone overboard with security. No one near the stadium. This is the first time they changed the rules for all that stuff. You see military presence and everything. So we did the Friday show from a hotel. The hotel had hired a band to play in like the lounge area of the hotel.
Tampa Hyatt.
Okay, at the Tampa Hyatt. On Friday, we go in and we have like all of New York is in the hotel with us. We have like 2,000 people in the hotel jammed into a room watching us do the show now.
Wow.
And the band starts to play and they boo the band off the stage. So they pay the band to go home. The company, the management comes up and says, all right, we understand. We're selling plenty of beer here. We're fine. These New Yorkers are nuts. And they like want to throw money in a pot to get the band off.
Yeah.
And George Young is there.
Oh, yeah,
and
great show.
everybody's there. And Dog makes his bold prediction. So the next morning, I go over to the training headquarters of the Giants. And I'm sitting in a room with Parcells and Ron Earhart, and who is the offensive coordinator. And Ron Earhart says, tell him what your nutty partner picked. And I said, nah, he doesn't need to know that. The game's tomorrow. You know, he goes, what? Tell me what he picked. He goes, what'd that nut pick? He goes, 49. I said, 49-13. He goes, 49-13. I said, 49-13 Bills. He goes, 49-13. I'd have committed suicide by the time they get 30.
That's, you know, it's funny. Remember, we were in Tampa all week, but the New York fans came down for the weekend.
Right.
So they put us in a new location on Friday, and it became a mess. I thought that was important, though, because we had fun with it. I honestly thought Buffalo would win. This is the second year we had done shows together.
Right.
Mike was on the Giants side, and as it turns out, the Giants ended up winning the game. So we had a lot of fun. We had a good week, and not many people there. We had Michaels and Hank Stram, and Hank Stram
Well, it was so
fun.
different where all the people would actually come to the show. We had coaches come to the show, general managers come to the show. Later years, everything was on Radio Row and everything's so antiseptic and you can't get guests because there's 2,000 shows there.
Right.
Dog and I went before there was a Radio Row. We went when there was nobody else there. We would do the show at the Super Bowl and it'd be one station. And we'd do the show all day and we'd have all the guests, John Madden, come down and join us. You know, quarterbacks would come down and join
I was
us.
the time that Shula, the first year in New Orleans, was in the lobby and he walked, he came by, Don Shula. You don't get that nowadays.
Best guest you could have. And then there'd be like one show, another show, then another year, another show. And then all of a sudden we see these shows starting to crop up around us.
Right.
There'd be like 3 or 4. And then all of a sudden there's 20 or 30. And then there's 200 or 300.
Look,
and now there's hundreds of radio stations there.
It always
every
starts
year.
with the first one, and the first one's always the best one. And I mean that sincerely. And you guys really started it. I mean, how important do you think was, you were in the 90s, and like the Knicks made the championship.
Oh, yeah, enormous.
Right, the Giants, the Rangers.
Yeah, a lot of teams.
I mean, you had the Yankees, 4 World Series.
Well, think about the run. We had the Giants who were good.
Right.
And you had a lot of Parcells drama if he goes, which is
And
always
the Mets were going from being great to being bad.
So you had that, and the Mets brought Benia in and brought all these players
Right.
in and had Torborg. So you had that too. So you had
Coleman
these,
spraying people.
that's right, Torborg with the bleach. Yeah. So you had, and we had Torborg on every day at 3:05.
Every day.
Jeff
Not once a
Torborg
week.
signed the deal. He came out once a
Every
week.
day.
Every day. They lost 120 games.
Every day.
Even on Saturdays, he came out. I did Saturday.
We made managers cry. We made them quit. We made them cry. Buddy Harrelson quit.
Right.
Buddy quit. You
He
didn't like it.
wouldn't do it. Jeff Torborg used to come on, and it was torture. They were so bad. They
were
say the same thing every day. It was so painful. It was unbelievable.
But I got to speak for the fans, guys, because we would wait, and I know how I would feel. You guys were so great that I would go, when something would happen, when Bobby Valentine would say something crazy, I used to go, what is Mike going to say tomorrow? Oh my God, what is Chris going to say when he hears this?
I remember 2 things with Valentine. One time at spring training, Bobby went on and on and on about how he was not getting paid right to do his manager show and everything else. And he actually brought up, how is Bruce Bochy making more than me with the manager show? Bochy now is going to the Hall of Fame. Remember that? I couldn't believe it. That's the first thing. And the second time is, as we did a show at Shea, whether it was a playoff game, whatever. I mean, it was probably a Yankee series, and Mike and Bobby had a lot of issues.
Right.
So Mike went downstairs before the game.
We got a fight.
Got into a huge fight. I had to do the first 45 minutes by
An
myself
hour.
because Mike was
I'm down
downstairs.
in the locker room. Bobby and I almost came to blows. We're nose to nose in the locker room. Doors already started the show. I'm downstairs fighting with Bobby B in the,
Well, yeah, we had
downstairs
some
in the
fun.
locker room.
But, Riley was important with the Knicks because the Knicks got good.
Yes.
And Riley had a lot of
Very important.
personality.
And he was great to us, Chaz.
Very good.
He would come on. We'd be in Indiana for a game 6 on a Friday night. Knicks down 3-2. And at 5:30, Riley'd come out, sit down, do a half hour with us. A half hour.
Wow.
Courtside.
He was great.
Game 7. He'd come out and do a half hour courtside.
By the time he flew to the stands to do Mike's post game after they beat the Pacers in Game 7.
Well, people knew how important you guys were. Listen, you got Piazza to come to the Mets. I don't care what anybody
That
says.
is a true story. That really is.
You got Piazza
That
to come to
actually
the
is.
Mets.
And I can tell you honestly, and I can even give you the background, and that story's never been fully told. The true story is, and Dog will tell you, on Thursday, we were just getting ready to start the show. Piazza's agent calls up and asks to talk to us. And he says, Mike's going to the Cubs tomorrow, but he wants to go to the Mets. Can you do anything about that?
Wow.
And I said, I can relay the message. So we relay the message. We call up the Mets. Steve Phillips comes on our show and says, under no circumstances are we interested in Mike Piazza. We will not get him. We have no interest. So after he leaves, Dog and I go off on a tangent. The building's empty. I drove by it the other night. There's 13,000 people. These idiots won't fill the stadium. What are they, nuts? This guy wants to come to New York. So we went off on Nelson Doubleday was driving to the stadium. He went into the meeting, called the meeting, and said, I just listened to them on the radio. They're right. Get Piazza.
And the next thing you know,
Piazza, the next morning, was on his way to New York.
Let's take a quick break. Is that okay with you, Chad?
Sure.
Oceanside Christopher has changed its name to Ocean Financial Federal Credit Union. It has changed its name, but not its commitment or service to you. It is now bigger and better than ever. After 50 years, it has grown to be the 4th largest Catholic credit union in the country. In this time of mobile phones and apps where banking is just a touch away, it may be time to try a credit union. A successful credit union gives you higher savings rates and lower rates on all kinds of loans. Looking for something that has a community feel, then maybe a credit union is right up your alley. And Ocean Financial Federal, well, it's a credit union I know because it's run by a high school friend of mine, longtime friend of mine, and it's down on the South Shore of Long Island. It's got branches in Oceanside and Seaford. But you can use, if you're a member and you have accounts there, you can use any of the 70 or so credit unions offices on Long Island and thousands nationally.
Fios is not cable. We're a 100% fiber optic network, and we believe everyone deserves a faster, more powerful internet. With the Fios Gigabit connection, you get amazing download speeds, up to 940 megs, so you can do more of the things you love, like binge watching Game of Thrones on multiple devices, while your son hosts a massive gaming tournament, and your daughter live streams yet another 4K video of herself singing, all at the same time. And the price is pretty amazing too. It's $79.99 a month. Get Fios Gigabit connection with TV, phone, plus HBO for 1 year, and multi-room DVR service for 2 years, all for $79.99 a month online for the first year with a 2-year agreement. And switching to Fios has never been easier. Get out of your contract with up to a $500 credit to help cover your early termination fee. Go to FiosGigabit.com or call 1-888-GET-FIOS to learn more. For ETF bill credit offer, you must provide documentation to maintain Verizon service for 90 days. Gigabit network connection to your home. Availability and speeds vary. For new customers only, $84.99 a month in year 2. Taxes, RSN, FTVA, $12 a month set-top box. Early termination and other equipment charges, fees, and terms apply. HBO subscription required. See offer details.
Are your tires ready for the road ahead? No? Then get the Town Fair Tire to get name brand tires at the guaranteed lowest price. Bridgestone, Firestone, Michelin, Continental, Pirelli, Yokohama, Hankook, and more. All at the guaranteed lowest price you'll find anywhere. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Not the internet, not the discount stores, not other tire dealers. I mean, nobody. For the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Name brand discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Brothers Supply is New York's #1 source for ICR P-Tax, water source, heat pumps, and fan coils. Contractors and property managers partner up with Brothers Supply for all of your air conditioning needs. Call today for a quote or visit online at brothersupply.com. Remember, Brothers Supply has it in stock.
When you're ready to tackle that large job or weekend project, turn to Sunbelt Rentals for all of your equipment needs. At Sunbelt Rentals, they've got the broadest range of tools and equipment for New York City contractors of any size, as well as DIYers, and it's backed by 24/7 service and expert advice. And now they're excited to announce that Pride Equipment, New York City's premier provider of aerial equipment, has joined the Sunbelt Rentals family. For more than 40 years, Pride has served the greater New York City market, and now Now, as part of Sunbelt Rentals, the local team can supply a more expansive equipment and service offering to keep your jobs on time and on budget. Backed by Pride's expertise and reputation for excellence, the knowledgeable team at Sunbelt Rentals can better provide New York City with the equipment needed for completing any project. Call 1-800-NO-SWEAT or visit sunbeltrentals.com for the location nearest you. What are you waiting for? Let Sunbelt Rentals help equip your next project for success.
Napa know-how.
Right now, Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil is on sale for just $4.29 a quart. Quality motor oil at an affordable price. A deal so good it practically sells itself. Which begs the question, what do we do with the rest of this commercial? Repeat the deal, I guess. Napa Full Synthetic Motor Oil for just $4.29 a quart. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state local taxes or recycling fees. Offer expires 7/31/17.
A Wendy's Frosty is something special. And for a limited time, a Frosty is just 50 cents. An American classic for a classic price. It's not quite a milkshake, not quite an ice cream cone. It's definitely chocolate or vanilla. That choice is on you. Use a spoon or a French fry. Anything goes. A Frosty makes summer special. Yep, there's nothing quite like a Frosty. And there's nothing quite like this deal. A Frosty for 50 cents. Get yours before this deal melts away.
Small Frosty only at participating Wendy's for a limited time. Overnight valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
Staples knows that when the leave behinds for your sales call get left behind at your office, it's time. When you need to print 30 pages and you're 300 miles from the office, it's time. And when the intern packed the Harrington file, not the Farrington file.
Oh, my bad.
It's definitely time. And it's times like these when you can count on Staples. Access your files from email, the cloud, or USB, and then print, copy, fax, or scan them, and get back to business fast. Visit your nearby Staples. It's pro time.
On Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN.
All right, we got some questions here for the great Mike and the dog.
Let's go,
All right, Steve, come on, Steve, let's hear it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Looking back at your careers, how does it feel that every radio show duo is now compared against the both of you? That both of you have become the Lennon and McCartney of talk show hosts. Would you have ever believed that in 1989?
No, absolutely.
Randy McCartney is alive.
Funny, Mike, funny. I never would have, no, not in a million years would I ever believe that we'd have that, you know, that pioneer aspect to it, which I don't even think about too much. The documentary makes you think that. They do a great job with it. You guys probably haven't seen it yet. You'll see it next Thursday. They do a great job with it. But I never would have thought that. Would you, Mike?
I think Chaz hit it before. The advantage is being lucky enough to be first. If you're first and you're successful, then you own it. It's kind of, you're the brand, you're the gold standard, whatever you want to call it. And I think we always tried to be that. The one thing Doug and I did always try to do is we always tried to keep our show a sports show. We didn't want to do guy talk. We didn't want to do, scatological humor. That wasn't our stuff. We did sports, and we were hard on people. We had fun too. Yeah, we did. We did culture, but we also we didn't ever try to do TNA and all that kind of guy talk stuff that a lot of the shows have become. That wasn't our thing, but I think a big part, like I said, Fan was in New York, which is big. Being in New York is a very big part of it. And, you have so many teams, and everything in New York is bigger, so we were lucky enough to be in the right city at the right time, which is a very big part of life. Life is about, a lot of times, getting an opportunity, and when you get it, being able to be successful at it. You might not get it again, but if you get it in the right time, right place, it really is a big help.
That's so true. You guys were fans. That's what made it so great. You're a fan. He's a fan. And fans, we were we would gravitate.
I remember we hit the station at the perfect time. I always comes to do the morning. They moved from 1050 to 660, so the frequency increases. The teams got good. We just talked about the Giants. Right. The Knicks were good. The Rangers won a Stanley Cup.
Lightning in a bottle.
Then the Yankees won a World Series in 96.
And don't underestimate Imus's importance was enormous because, remember, you still have to pay the bills. You got to keep the lights on. And having a show in the morning that could produce revenue while the station figured out what to do. It took them a while to do that. That kept the station alive. Without Imus,
people don't like to think that now, but it's true.
And they would have closed the door on FAN before Mike and the Mad Dog even took off if it wasn't for Don.
Remember, he bought all the advertisers too. He had that group of advertisers.
Imus had revenue, and revenue is what keeps the door open.
All right, we got another question, Kevin.
Yeah, here's another kind of a fan-related question here for each of you. If you could go back in time and attend one sporting event, what would it be?
If I can go back in time and be there? Boy, that's a good one. The first thing that just came to my mind, I probably would say the Bobby Thompson game against in 51, Giants Dodgers. This first thing came to my mind.
I want to go back to the late 40s and go to Fenway Park and see DiMaggio and Williams in a pennant race. That's what I'd like to see.
Wow.
49 would be a perfect year. I'd like to be able to sit there. But I always said to Dog, could you imagine if we did sports talk in the 50s when you had Mantle, Mays, and Snyder in the same town doing what they were doing? Having those three teams, could we have started up with those three teams in this town at the same time?
Breaking down the center fielders?
Yeah,
oh, my
make
God.
the center fielders an issue? I mean, geez. I mean, think about it. I mean, Duke Snyder was third, and he had more homers than the other two. So, I mean, think about it for the 50s. That could have been fun.
Mike doesn't know this one. I just did this author, Rock Positano, wrote this book, Dinner with DiMaggio. So he came in here for an hour the other day, about 2 weeks ago, and he said that DiMaggio used to be in the car and used to love the two Italian guys from New York made good on the radio.
Except he wouldn't come over with us.
But he loved the fact that two Italian kids from Long Island were on the radio.
Nick, how about? Okay, Nick.
Okay, pleasure to be here, guys. You sort of touched on this before, but from your days together on the air in New York City, what would you each consider to be the highlight, best New York sports moment?
Best New York sports moment?
Yeah.
Again, the first thing that's going to come to my mind is probably the Rangers winning that Stanley Cup. Plus, they came from they were down 3-2 to the Devils. Messier's guarantee. They haven't won since, so it's still kind of fresh in your mind. That's when we're on the air now. You can come up with the 6-9 Mets, 6-9 Knicks, but on the air, the two of us, I think the Rangers winning the Cup may have been the biggest thing.
I think the Rangers was different, but it was still hockey, which I think it doesn't get as many people, but the people it got were incredibly emotional. But there's a couple that stand out to me. One is the Giants upsetting the undefeated Pat team was an enormous win. Absolutely.
Now, we were still together.
Enormous, yes. Number two, when the Giants beat the Bills in that classic Super Bowl. And the third is the 96 World Series, because Yankees hadn't won in so long. And that year, the Yankees got soft in September, as you remember, and Dog had them out of it every day. And then they went through those crazy series where so many things could have gone wrong, and they got every break. And then they get to the series, and they go down 2-0, and everyone's got them out. And they go to Atlanta and play those wild games from the Leyritz homer to the Pettit 1-0, and then Game 6, the Girardi triple, which is still the loudest I've ever heard Yankee Stadium. I've been in Yankee Stadium 1,000 times. That's the loudest I ever heard Yankee Stadium, was in that 3-2 win. The Girardi triple off Maddox was the loudest I've ever heard Yankee Stadium. It shook that night, and that championship to me is one of the most special. It's the most special one I've ever had as a Yankee fan my whole life, but also was one of the biggest ones I think we ever had, because that team captivated everything about this town. And really, the Yankees hadn't won in so long. They weren't a great team. They just hit everything right. And, you think about this from that team. Their bench, they had Boggs, Strawberry, Big Daddy.
Tino didn't start, though. Tino didn't start fielding play.
The guys they had on the bench on that team. And Tim Raines was in the Hall of Fame. Those guys were all on the bench on that team. That was a remarkable.
I like the year before better, when we ate the spaghetti. When we had dinner in the studio, and Griffey ran it on the bases in Game 5 against Seattle.
And I kicked the garbage can.
I remember that.
I in the morning.
I hated that. I remember.
No one realized who Mariano Rivera was, unfortunately.
And Rizzuto came on he came on throughout the postseason, 95, and he was annoyed at Bucks. He wouldn't play Strawberry.
Absolutely.
He wouldn't put Strawberry in the lineup.
We have another question here, Kenny.
Hey, guys.
Just shut up. That's what I would do. Tell me shut up.
I love you, David.
My question's for both of you. Who was your favorite interview of all time, and who did you never interview that you wish you both did?
Mike said DiMaggio.
DiMaggio was the one we never got. He's the easy one. Who is your favorite? Mine was George Young, because it was almost like he was being chastised by an old history teacher. He was curmudgeonly, but he was also very entertaining. So George Young, I think, who was a longtime guest. I thought was a great guest.
I bet.
I'll also put David Stern in there. Same qualities. He liked to get under our skin. He liked to be curmudgeonly. He liked to be difficult. And I thought that made for great radio.
My kid, those two are very important. Raleigh at 505 playoff games. I think you got to put that in there. That was very important too. You know, some of them are a little, not as exciting as you think. Van Gundy was always good to me and Mike. I thought Chekic was a good spot. Chekic was good. You know, Chekic was a great executive. I think Mike would agree with that.
Honest interview was Don King. You could not get back into the interview. He knew more words than anybody who ever lived. I'm telling you. As they said in the Ali movie, you must have studied every word in the D's. And, he knew every word. He never stopped. He never took a breath. He never took a breath.
We had King on yet. No, good.
All right, Mike.
Yes, hi. My name's Mike Woodall. I'm another one of those Italian guys from Long Island.
There you go, Mike.
Not my question, but any chance we could get this back a little bit more full-time? You two guys?
Full-time?
Part-time? Anytime?
Oh, come on, get your question.
He wants to know.
Chaz, this is my one question.
No, it's not your one shot. Give me your question. Come on.
Could you guys pick your Mount Rushmore of New York sports figures, both past and present?
I'm only gonna have 4. Well, you got
anyone
I think you go by franchises, then you can just. We did this earlier today, and I think LT Giants. I would put Namath with the Jets. I would put Messier, Mike mentioned Joubert with the Rangers, Clyde or Willis with the Knicks, Ewing maybe be third. And then the baseball is Seaver with the Mets. And then the baseball with the Yankees is hard. You got the 4 or 5 people.
You got Ruth, though.
Yeah,
Ruth is bigger than everybody.
Yeah, he is.
You know, I think the 2 biggest guys, believe it or not, if you think about impact, now the Yankees have so many because you have Gehrig and DiMaggio and Mantle and so many guys, but is Ruth and LT. Because if you were going to say who's the greatest baseball player of all time, it's Ruth. If you were going to say football, LT usually comes in second all time. I mean, that's second all time. I mean, that puts him on a very, very small list. So LT has to be very, very high on the list.
And Namath won the Super Bowl. That was important.
And it just haven't done anything since. I mean, that's it.
So, you know, where would you put Jeter? No, I would put him 5th. You put him 6th behind Yogi with the Yankees?
I would still put him behind Yogi.
You would? I wouldn't do that. I'd put him 5th.
I think people don't realize how good Yogi Berra was. Yogi Berra won 3 MVPs. And was as good a clutch hitter of all time.
Right.
Yes.
Now, it was never Yogi's team. It was Jeter's team.
It wasn't. He had
Mantle and DiMaggio.
He did, but he was a great clutch hitter. Great clutch hitter.
Underrated historically.
DiMaggio would have been a tough interview. He was like...
Impossible.
Well, he was impossible. I know people who...
He's no day at the beach.
He's no day at the beach. He would sign autographs.
Impossible.
He sat... I mean, he got thrown out of a restaurant in my neighborhood, you know.
Oh, did he really?
Oh, yeah. He had a restaurant with these wise guys there. They sat him down. They ate dinner. And one of the... This is a true story. One of the wise guys, who I will not mention his name, walked over to him and said, hey, Joe, would you do me a favor? Would you sign the ball? And Joe turned around to the guy that was with him and said, I knew I had to pay for this dinner somehow.
Oh my God.
Just like that.
Joe.
And my friend, the wise guy, said, do me a favor, Joe, get up, get out.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's a true story, Mike. Chris.
Wow.
My hint to God.
Wow.
Out, get out. Right now.
Did he get out?
He got out, he got up, and he walked out.
And this guy,
oh my gosh, that's a great one. Where were you 20 years ago doing that story?
He walked out.
That is a great story.
Yes.
I mean, you would have thought the guy who married Monroe would have had a smile on his face permanently. I mean,
Yeah. He said, I know how to pay, and he told him, get up, get out, and he got out.
Not one of the nicest guys, to be honest with you. You know, that, I mean, we're unhappy. You know, I think he had a broken heart. I'll give him a broken heart. I think Monroe broke his heart.
And Mantle was tough, too. We had Mantle on a
We had
couple
the
of
good days and the bad days with Mantle.
Yeah, we had him on one
We
year.
had the sober days and the drunk days. So we had both with Mantle. We had both.
Throwing books at us.
Yeah, not at us. It's the fans.
Now, I have a question. When you guys went to national, when you got national exposure, that must have been like really like...
You heard about Yes?
I'm talking about the Yes. When you guys, you did the show, when that went to national exposure, did it change anything?
Yeah, I think it did a little bit, Chaz, but, you know, really, New York is so big that people see New York everywhere anyway. It's amazing. You go to Florida, it's like being in New York. You go to different places, there's New Yorkers everywhere. You find out there's so many of us, there's New Yorkers everywhere. It's like we've spread out everywhere. So being in New York is special. I think it's different than being in just every city. There is no city like New York. And that's why, you know, I never wanted to leave or do anything else because I always thought I was in the best place anyway, being in New York. I really did.
I think what Yes did for us more than anything else, it gave us, you know, you can see all the clips, you know, on TV, those famous clips where he's screaming about the Giants and the Marlins, you know, having fun singing Meet the Mets, that great song that we sang in the 30 for 30. And that, you know, you didn't have that before Yes.
You haven't grasped yet what really happened, right? Dog met with the devil once, and he said, "Listen, I have to win a championship before I die. I mean, I have to see a giant championship." And the devil said, "I'll give you 3." He said, "What? What do I have to do?" He said, "Get rid of Mike."
I never heard that one. Well, we got to take a timeout. Okay. Bill, take a timeout? Okay. Bill's in over there. Mike and Bill, right? Say hello.
Still with him.
We continue here. Mike and the Mad Dog. We're back here.
Oceanside Christopher has changed its name to Ocean Financial Federal Credit Union. It has changed its name, but not its commitment or service to you. It is now bigger and better than ever. After 50 years, it has grown to be the 4th largest Catholic credit union in the country. In this time of mobile phones and apps where banking is just a touch away, it may be time to try a credit union. A successful credit union gives you higher savings rates and lower rates on all kinds of loans. Looking for something that has a community feel? Then maybe a credit union is right up your alley. And Ocean Financial Federal, well, it's a credit union I know because it's run by a high school friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, and it's down on the South Shore of Long Island. It's got branches in Oceanside and Seaford. Well, you can use, if you're a member and you have accounts there, you can use any of the 70 or so credit unions offices on Long Island and thousands nationally.
New Yorkers always demand the best. And why not? The best of everything is right here. And the only network that can keep up with New Yorkers' demand for the best is Verizon. No surprise. Our 4G LTE network was built to work better in cities. It's the best network in Times Square and the best on the boardwalk at Coney Island. Best in Alphabet City and Tudor City. Best on the High Line, or even if you're just standing online. From the backseat of a taxi to the front row of the ballpark, Verizon is the best network in New York City. Switch today, and Verizon will give you up to $650 per line to cover your cost to switch when you trade in your old phone. New York never sleeps, and neither does its best network, Verizon. Learn more at bzw.com. New smartphone device payment purchase important and required. Up to $650 prepaid card for installment plan balance less trade-in value, or up to $350 prepaid card for early termination fees less trade-in value. Trade-in must be in good working and cosmetic condition and be worth more than $0. Line must remain active for 6 months, subject to BZW agreements, calling, plan, and credit approval.
It's Mattress Firm's 4th of July sale. They're kicking off the summer with daily deals. Everything from free pillows to 50% off mattresses from brands you love. Visit the store today and see what the daily deal is today. With over 15 queen sets under $999.99. There's something for everyone. Like Hampton Roads mattress sets starting only $179.99. And Serta mattresses at $399.99. It's all about that base. What? An adjustable base is perfect for binge watching your favorite show or reading a good book. And right now, get a free adjustable with select purchases. Why wait any longer? Come in today and start sleeping happy on your perfect mattress. Plus, take advantage of interest-free financing for 6 years. That's 72 months of sleeping interest-free. Subject to credit approval just in time for summer. Get a Serta iComfort Temp Touch, a memory foam mattress with revolutionary cooling technology designed to support every curve of your body at an unbeatable value of only $37 a month for 36 months. Nobody sells cool comfort for less. Only at Mattress Firm.
As your family grows, the White Plains Chrysler family will be there to grow with you. Go to WhitePlainsChrysler.com. When you're ready to tackle that large job or weekend project, turn to Sunbelt Rentals for all of your equipment needs. At Sunbelt Rentals, they've got the broadest range of tools and equipment for New York City contractors of any size, as well as DIYers, and it's backed by 24/7 service and expert advice. And now they're excited to announce that Pride Equipment, New York City's premier provider of aerial equipment, has joined the Sunbelt Rentals family. For more than 40 years, Pride has served the greater New York City market, and now as part of Sunbelt Rentals, the local team can supply a more expansive equipment and service offering to keep your jobs on time and on budget. Backed by Pride's expertise and reputation for excellence, the knowledgeable team at Sunbelt Rentals can better provide New York City with the equipment needed for completing any project. Call 1-800-NO-SWEAT or visit sunbeltrentals.com for the location nearest you. What are you waiting for? Let Sunbelt Rentals help equip your next project for success.
If your bath could use a little updating or a complete makeover, Lowe's has you covered. Our in-store designers can help you create a bathroom design and help you manage your project from start to finish. To request a free design consultation, visit Lowe's.com/kitchen and bath. If you're ready to dive in now, we can help you save with up to 50% off select bath vanities. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid 7/5 through 7/17. Selection varies by store. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Fios is not cable. We're a 100% fiber optic network, and we believe everyone deserves a faster, more powerful internet. With the Fios Gigabit connection, you get amazing download speeds, up to 940 megs, so you can do more of the things you love, like binge watching Game of Thrones on multiple devices, while your son hosts a massive gaming tournament, and your daughter live streams yet another 4K video of herself singing, all at the same time. And the price is pretty amazing too. It's $79.99 a month. Get Fios Gigabit connection with TV, phone, plus HBO for 1 year, and multi-room DVR service for 2 years, all for $79.99 a month online for the first year with a 2-year agreement. And switching to Fios has never been easier. Get out of your contract with up to a $500 credit to help cover your early termination fee. Go to FiosGigabit.com or call 1-888-GET-FIOS to learn more. For ETF bill credit offer, you must provide documentation to maintain Verizon service for 90 days. Gigabit network connection to your home. Availability and speeds vary. For new customers only, $84.99 a month in year 2. Taxes, RSN, FTVA, $12 a month set-top box. Early termination and other equipment charges, fees, and terms apply. HBO subscription required. See offer details.
Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM. WFAN. Mike and the Mad Dog.
Great to have Chaz with it. Chaz, Bronx Tale doing well right now, too.